Hello and welcome to A Time to Think, volume 06.05 by Pastor Billy Joe Hillbilly. I think there are people out there that they kind of feel that God has abandoned us, that God has left us to our own devices, just turned away. I think the way God has interacted with man has changed through time in the history of mankind. I think there has been some things are different. Like in the Old Testament, you read stories about God speaking to someone, like out loud, audibly. You can hear his voice. And I don't know that he does that now. And I'm not saying that God doesn't speak to people. But I don't think it's typically, or maybe even ever, in an out loud kind of. Maybe some people have heard his voice straight up, just heard actually audibly, like their ears were affected. The eardrum was vibrated. Was vibrating, and so there was actually some sort of physical. But I don't know that I hesitate to believe that. I'm not saying God can't speak out loud, but it seems like through history, in the past, Old Testament stuff, you're hearing tales of God speaking to people. And from what I can recall, it's been a while since I read the Old Testament, but from what I recall, it sounds as if these were actual audible, sounds, messages, words. They could hear his voice, literally. Not just like in their heads or their hearts or whatever. But it seems like, that things have, that through history things have changed. And it may be because God became a man and came to the earth and spoke and had people that followed him and wrote down what he said and, whatever kind of thing. And so, you have to wonder if he's like, I came down there and I spoke to you out loud, verbally, and you still deny that I exist. You don't believe. You turn. You. So he's probably like, enough. If they need me to, I'll speak to their hearts or their minds, or the presence. My spirit will speak to them internally, but in an out loud kind of way. I'm done with that. That just didn't work out. Nobody's listening anyway. I came and spoke and preached and explained how things were supposed to work, and they still didn't hear me, so why waste my breath? So people sort of feel that God's abandoned us, but I don't believe that's the case. I believe the way he responds to us, the way he speaks to us, the way he interacts with us, maybe that has changed through time. I think people tend to forget that, when Jesus died and arose, and physically he's no longer with us. He is not here in a physical form. That doesn't mean the Spirit of God is not here in ways that I can't even fathom. But Jesus, God born in a physical form as a human being, is not on the planet anymore. But humans, Christians, are supposed to continue that legacy, that we have to be the hands and feet. We have to be the ones going out and teaching and preaching and loving and hugging and, and I think people lose sight of that. Come up with all sorts of excuses. But I'm afraid, or I don't speak I don't speak well in public. I get nervous. Well, start small and just build up. Work. Do something. I mean, anything is better than just living inside those excuses of why you can't. Why you can't do. I just can't. I'm too tired. I'm too much to do. Too much. If it means something, you'll find a way. You'll make time. So make some time. If anybody has abandoned anybody, we've abandoned God, not vice versa. The way He speaks to us may not be the same as He did at one point, but that can be taken as abandonment. We've abandoned Him, and that's probably why we don't hear His voice anymore. Or so few do. But I think if you listen, and I don't mean with the ears, I think you now have to listen with your head and your heart and your soul to hear God. I think you can.